Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. And on today's video I wanted to talk a little bit about grenades. I feel like they're completely underused and underutilized. Whenever I watch streams or I watch other content creators, they really just aren't used as much as I think they should. They are good for many things. They are good at, falling back from a fight that's not in your favor, turning the fight so it's in your favor, or even just getting the high ground and pushing the enemy, keeping them at bay so that you can rotate and move around to your best ability. A good way that I'd like to do and offer is to learn the grenades first, which is jumping into firing range, running around, throwing the arc stars, the thermites, the frag grenade at the dummies, slide and throw them, see how far you can throw them. Just learn all the different ways, because it will help when utilizing them in their best way. And as I said, grenades are heavily underused, so when you whip out a grenade in a fight, it can throw off the enemy because it's just not used as much, in my opinion. So let's go over the three grenades really quickly. We have the Thermite Grenade, which is a long tube which when hits the ground kind of does a line of fire which can decimate enemies hiding behind cover. We have the Arc Star that can stick to an enemy, which is, in my opinion, the funnest grenade, I guess, if that's even a word, in Apex Legends. It's insanely fun to use. And then you have the incredible Frag Grenade, which is incredibly hard to master, but does insane damage if you can hit very close to the Frag Grenade. Not only does it throw the enemy about with the explosion, it forces them to move, but it deals insane damage if you can get the grenade close to the enemy. But let's go into a little bit more detail. So first up, we have the Thermite Grenade. I said earlier that the Arc Star sticks to anything or anyone. The Thermite Grenade doesn't. It bounces off any service, it bounces off legends, it bounces off crates and supply drops, care packages, and it basically hits the floor, any floor that it can, stand on, and it will split and create a line of fire in both directions on the same level. It's really good to, keep a door shut. If the door's gone, you can stop people from coming through, and if they do, it will do a lot of damage to them. But it is mainly used to get rid of people that are sitting behind cover. So if they're sitting behind cover and you throw the the Thermite Grenade, down, you can actually decimate pretty well, and it's really interesting to see. Now there are some ways that you can use them. Now, for example, it can obscure vision. So if you are shooting at someone and you're standing on top of something, you can throw an Arc Star down, and trying to look through the Arc Star can actually be quite devastating. It's quite a bright, fire. So with that being said, you can actually obscure the enemy's vision. Obviously you'll be obscuring your own vision, but it allows you to kind of blur the battlefield for a bit so that you can shield, you can move back, you can push, you can basically do whatever the battle needs you to do at that moment in time. Now, if someone is in a Thermite Grenade, they will go down in 6 seconds. 6 seconds is an awfully long time to be, it is an awfully short time, to be standing in a thermite and go down. So with that being said, they are insanely useful and very lethal when you use them in a small building, or, similar to like a States on Olympus. But because of the split, the main point, of the Thermite Grenade is to use it when the enemies are behind a cover or hiding behind a rock, for example. Now, next up is the Frag Grenade. Definitely the easiest grenade to use, but the hardest to master. You've seen grenades in pretty much every video game. You know how they work. You throw the grenade, it bounces and bounces until it explodes. Now, they're used in, pretty much every shooter video game. It bounces and rolls around for 4 seconds. So you can use that to, practice arenas. You can throw it 4 seconds away and kill the enemy, which is very handy. But it does bounce off walls, so you can use this to your advantage. If you're in a building and you want to bounce it off walls left and right to get to the enemy, you can do that. You can curve them. It is really nice. You can throw the grenades through very small windows, similar to the Arc Stars and the Thermites, but it can be quite lethal too. So with that being said, when throwing the Frag Grenade far, it can give the enemy a very small window to react, as the grenade will hit the enemy a lot quicker and they won't have much time to think about it. Now the Frag Grenade itself deals more damage than the Thermite and the Arc Stars if you hit them with the center of the explosion. It can actually almost down someone if you can get the Frag Grenade right under their feet, which isn't always a possibility, but they are incredibly dangerous, so you need to be using Frag Grenades as best you can. The final grenade is my favorite. It's the Arc Star. A perfectly thrown Arc Star is absolutely exhilarating for yourself, but incredibly bad for the enemy. Now they are insane. They have a range of 100 meters when you throw them, and it is a bit far, so you know, allow for a follow-up. So say for example you're chasing towards a team, throw the Arc Star, which is obviously like, you know, a long way, and then use that time to basically catch up with the enemy as well. I kind of use them in a fight more than not, because I find that the Arc Star can be thrown, you know, quite far, so I don't tend to use them. I tend to use Frag Grenades. But when you hit the enemy will be slowed for 3 seconds, which in Apex is a long time. Think about how good movement is in Apex. 3 seconds is a long time. The main reason why I love the Arc Stars, because not only is it fun, you can stick them, it's epic when you do, but after a direct hit, the enemy will either be downed or at half HP, which is insane. It allows you to have 3 seconds to beam that enemy down. As I said, all 3 grenades are incredibly underused, but that's just my opinion. Now, all 3 grenades will open doors on explosion. The Frag Grenade will blow the doors wide open, Arc Star will blow the doors wide open, but the Thermite Grenade will actually take between 1 and 2 seconds to open that door and crack that door open. My favorite way of using grenades is to put the grenade on the other side of the enemy, so it forces the enemy towards you, or the left or right. So say for example, you're pushing towards a rock and the enemy is hiding behind the rock, but you've got the upper hand, so you're charging towards them. Throw the grenade to the left of the rock and head right. So it forces the enemy to go to the right, which you can then, you know, empty an entire mag onto them. If you really are like me and you really enjoy grenades, just consider using Fuse. He does have the most irritating voice lines. He's got some good interactions with Maggie, but he does have the most irritating voice lines in my opinion. Fuse can actually hold 2 grenades in 1 slot. And he also has a ability to shoot them, a passive, to shoot them from his arm using a explosive launcher that's attached to his arm. It really is fun, and you know, having 2 grenades instead of 1 is insane, and obviously having 4 grenades instead of 2 is just, you know, out of this world, and it really allows you to throw off. But the main good thing about grenades is that people don't expect grenades to be used, because they're obviously very, you know, they're very underused. So when you do, you can kind of panic the enemy a little bit. But I'd love to know, do you guys use grenades? What is your favorite grenade? But as far as that goes, that's my thoughts and my guides towards the grenades in Apex Legends. Now, please let me know what grenade is your favorite, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping a little like, dropping a little subscription. It makes my day seeing the little thing go up. Guys, until the next video, I'll see you later.